property they acquired before they married. Just thing I want to tell you is don't take it personally. Don't take it negatively. You know why? Because I want you to pause, take a breather, take a deep breath, and then switch yourself a little bit. Put yourself in the shoes of that person. And then start analyzing. Because most issues that we face it from a selfish perspective, from a selfish point of view. And most of the time, we want to address issues that way. But when we put ourselves in the other one's shoe, it gives us a different perspective. Instead of trying to say what the person is not saying. Now, when I analyze that way, it can give me a better insight of the way the person is thinking. Then with that, you can approach the person with the question or the concern from the perspective of that person. And they can receive it better. Having said that, let's look at the issue. You put yourself in the shoes of a person. Okay, here I am. I am a 40 years old. I'm a 35, 40 years old. You know, I finished my education or my professional training, okay? Or I come from a wealthy family, okay? Even if it's not wealth that I acquire myself, properties that I acquire myself, are acquired from the family I'm coming from. My rich aunt passed away. She left me a house. It is on my name. It's my house. Okay. My grandmother, I was her favorite. She left me, you know, a jewelry box worth 20 million, be it in any currency. That's mine. Okay. Whatsoever property that I have, I come into the marriage. I'm in love with you head over heel. Yeah. Like they say in French, on ne vit pas d'amour et d'eau fraîche. You don't just eat, you know, love and drink water and go to sleep. No. You have to have properties to survive. You have to have wealth to survive. So if by caution, I come in and say, okay, I'm going to put this aside from what we are going to build as a couple. To me, is shielding from you. That is true. That is the reality. Because if he doesn't want to put your name on it, he or she is shielding it. But what is the reason? Is it a way of investing? Is it an investment strategy? Is it a wealth protection? You see, you're going to have children together if you are married and you are having children. When he is no longer, are these properties going to the children? Because you have to look at the big picture. If he's not putting your name as a wife, is that part of the portfolio of the wealth of the legacy he's going to leave to his children? If that's the case, then you do not have to worry about it. Because your children are the one who needs the future assured. You are already grown. You have, for the most part, build your own career or your own professional training. It doesn't matter what trade you are doing, you are earning money. So whatever you are earning while married is yours, is for your children. And what is it? Is he's for the children. Now, when you guys come together, it is for the family. So whatsoever he acquired before he married you, it is right 100% to keep it for himself. It's not a demonstration of betrayal or he doesn't love you. Or There are ways to understand life that makes it easier to live. You see? Now, my thing is this, and that's me, okay? I'm coming into a marriage. Let me let me create my own wealth. Let me make sure I do things that I put my name on it, or I put the name of my children on it, that if you were to pass away, your brother or your sister who did not get married and is, you know, bitter that you have a good marriage with, with a brother, we're not going to descend on you to snatch everything that is in the marriage. The only thing she's going to have right to is what belongs to her brother before he came to marry you. So what you do is you build what you have in the marriage. That should be an incentive for you to, like they say in French, prendre les bouchées doubles, meaning to fold your sleeve and even work harder to create wealth for yourself and your children. And everything that you create with him in a marriage, you shield it. You make sure it is protected from his family, from from himself, or from his family rather. It's nothing but from his family, because the two of you are living a life together. So there's nothing you should be shielding from each other while you are in a marriage. If you want to shield before, that's his right. You see? Now, going back to that video, I gave an example that the prenup, which normally should be an option that he should have given to you before marriage, should have told you, I would like for you to sign a prenup. If you sign a prenup, these properties you don't have any hand on. If you did not sign a prenup, that's what caused this that looks like a deception. But if you had come right off the bat when you were dating, saying, look, I have these properties, but I'd rather not bring it into the marriage because these are property tied to my family. I don't want any issue from with my family and being at it, going at it. I want to separate. I want to give you peace of mind. Whatever we are going to build together in the family, in the marriage, is for you and the children. So legally, you make sure that everything that comes in the marriage is for you and the children. You sign the prenup and you don't have that discussion. But it did not make you sign the prenup. So now it looks as if now he's trying to hide something from you. To me, I don't see it that way. If it's yours, Oga, it's yours. Or if it's the wife, because it is not, there's no specification here. If it's the wife that has wealth and does not want her husband's name on it, it's a prerogative. And I salute all the men that are connected. I know maybe some of you hear me, some of you are there. I salute all of you. This is not a man bashing session. It's not to make you, sound or look bad. No, 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 no. These are young ladies that are asking questions according to what they are, some experiencing or some witnessing and all of that. So you are welcome, and we are here, we are fair. So it's a prerogative for both women, men or women, to um who can see your messages. Uh there's a new message. Okay, I'm gonna okay, okay. So that's what it is. So whether it's the woman or the wife or the husband, it is your prerogative to protect your property before you get in. You get into the marriage. Now, going back to the video that I did, should a Christian sign a prenup? I took an example. Prenuptial is really shielding of property. Okay. I took an example of coming from a family. I am an artist, okay, and I know what art is, okay. And I gave birth to my son. My son is 200% his mother, and he's an artist. So he has, in a case like that, he the art that I produce, okay, I produce some art that I gave to, he received it from me as a legacy. Okay. And it's part of what he's doing, it's part of what he's using to teach, because he's a university professor, and he's using it as part of his patrimoine. You understand what I'm saying? So my art piece, I would like my art piece to stay with my children. You understand what I'm saying? So I'd rather not have, when I'm gone and my children are old and the grandchildren wants to see the work of the paternal grandmother, and they won't be able to see. Why? Because let's say that their wives inherited my work and they don't care for the family value that I put on it, that I would love to see my great grandchild have what I made in his living room, and he's going to tell, or she's going to tell her children that this is the work of your great grandmother. Why? Because my, let's say my daughter-in-law, my future daughter-in-law, will not see the value in it. Oh, this is a painting, and she will throw it away. She will take it to, how do you call that? The Salvation Army, something like that. You see? So family patrimony are things that are um, have family value. It is valuable to your family, but might not be valuable to your in-laws. So because of that, when you do a prenuptial agreement, you say that every piece of art of my mother, you don't have access to. Everything that I received from my mother that has to do with the art production, you don't have access to. So let's sign that agreement. Now, if I were to put that into a trust, okay, to protect it legally, and he comes to marry this lady, he's going to say that this is my property. It's worth, let's say, $2,000 or $20,000. I cannot put your name on it because it's a family trust. It stays in my family. You cannot, you cannot fight that, because that's a family wealth. You see? So that's why I say put your feet, put yourself in the place of the other person. If you yourself, as a wife, you have a grandfather, let's say your grandfather has a is Mozart, a great composer, Mozart, and all of his composition, you put it into a library. There is a library, I forgot the technical name, but the musical library has a technical name. It's escaping me. He does that. He puts in the musical library and he says, this is a family wealth. It stays in the family. Because you can take that as a collateral to buy a house. You see what I mean? To send your children to school. The value, the bank can see the value of that and say, okay, the Mozart collection is worth $20 million. Okay, we put that as a value, a trust. We're going to let your children go to school at Harvard because the family has enough wealth to sustain their lifestyle. This is what the wealthy do. They put things like that. That's why they can buy a painting for $1 million. You see? And then they can, an in-law cannot inherit that. This is what causes them to have prenuptial agreement. So I think I have answered that question to say, don't think that it's a um, dishonest approach. Give that spouse the benefit of the doubt, understanding, and that should now make you understand that you have to create wealth with him or her while you are married, and you have to protect that wealth for you and the family and your children. And make sure you do protect that. I also have a couple of videos in there talking about what to do when um, getting insurance and all of that. So Let's answer that. Anybody has a question, a comment, a following question, a comment, anything? I'm gonna stop to talk
I
about. Let's
have
discuss.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
And I found out that when we are married, like overseas, uh, most of the items that we buy together, like house, car, and stuff like that, is easy to put under or both name. But for the property back home, like in Africa, there come the conflict because most of the family they buy, if you want, most of like fathers or mothers, they leave some properties to the children,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very difficult that even if they, let's say they leave a land to your husband, so when he's building, you participate, but it's very difficult to ask him to add your name because it's coming from his family.
Exactly.
So how can we solve that problem?
Exactly. And that's another. When I was doing the video, I wanted to add that as a segue. Okay,
Mhm.
separation of wealth and unity of wealth in a French marital system. I have seen that mostly in the French marital system. I don't know about the English. I don't know about in Anglophone countries like Nigeria, Ghana. I don't know, but in the Francophone, they have what they call separation of biens, séparation des biens, separation of wealth and unity of wealth. Okay. Then you have um, um, the traditional value system that is attached to wealth. Okay. And when you do marriage back home, because of the evolution of society, the law has helped Africa and African families in a lot of ways because the law had come to um um how can I say that, make a decision. That's the best way to say, make a decision to separate troubles in the family, saying the widow has right, or the mm, uh, for the most part it's a husband family that create a lot of issues, or the in-laws have rights, you see. So in that case, there the family patrimony back in Africa is difficult to dissociate from the whole family. You have a land that is 10 acres. The father passed on. He has four boys. And in some societies, the inheritance system is based on matriarchal. The mother, no, no, the father's sister's children inherit the father. So the uncle is the one who inherits the wealth of your father. You see? So in a case like that, you who's a wife, you don't even stand a chance to start fighting anything. You see? Because if your husband is not even the firstborn male or the only male and he has brothers, you have to just try to buy your own land. It's difficult. Why? Because one person cannot claim that land unless the village is well structured, where the village chieftaincy decides to say, our tribe has a law that when the man has 10 acres and he has five boys, is divided into 2 acres. Then you and your husband have your 2 acres. After they have decided, after the paperwork has been released for him to go make a legal attestation or a legal documentation that he is the rightful owner of those 2 acres at the west of that land, then you can start talking about adding your name. But for the most part, You have a lot of traditional laws you have to deal with before you deal with the modern law or civil law.
So if I
So,
decide
uh-huh.
to 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 help him build that house or anything, that means for me it's like charity. I'm just giving, I'm not expecting anything.
Well, my dear, the first place of charity in our lives is marriage. The biggest place of charity is marriage. I'm saying that not to say anything little here, but rather to bring to all of our attention the delicacy of us, our own, you know, reality that other nations do not share. You see, we in Africa, number one, is a patriarchal society. Number two, somewhere it's a little dishonest. To me, it's a dishonest society because you sometimes you can have a brother. He knows, even if it's a house that the brother built in a city, bought his land, built in a city with his wife. That has nothing to do with the traditional village land he's trying to get. He goes to the city, he buys a land, he builds the house, he lives in there 20 years with his family. When he passes on, the first person to show up in that house is his brother. This is my brother's house. I'm here to collect. How? From where to where? That's a dishonest, that's dishonesty and sorcery. So to come to that situation, what I can say is this. Last time we talked about prayer and we say that one chase 1,000, two chase 10,000. Teamwork will make something possible. Teamwork starts with who? Your husband. If you can bring your husband to understand the fact that you have left your father's house as a woman, a young lady, and you build a life with him as a woman, technically, you no longer have a place in your father's house. The only house you have in that country, in your homeland, is a home that the two of you built together for him and your children, for you to have. So if he does not fight it for you, you don't have a house. And like you say, it's going to be charity. So that's number one. Bring your husband along, your spouse along. Number two, take the law by your side. Go to the country, speak to a lawyer, ask to create the paperwork of a house you built. Did you build a house in a city or you build a house in your husband's village? If you build a house in your husband's village, can that house have a deed? Can you have a deed? Can the law recognize that house as being built, as being a property sitting in this square meterage? Go to the law and do a deed of recognition that this house has been built here this year by Mrs. So and Mr. So. This is what the law recognizes. Take the law to your side, by your side, to defend you. Only the law can defend you, but you have to do it with the help of your husband. That's all I can say. And a lot of prayers to bind all the spirit. And a lot of prayers. But that's pretty much what I can say in that situation. To have the law by your
Amen.
side.
Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. Mhm.
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, Brandy. All right. I appreciate the benefit of a doubt approach, MummySeka. Thank you. Follow up question, Mama. What if the reason for the prenuptial was not about protecting the wealth, but of, of greed and control? Also, how about acquisition during the marriage and the spouse's name is not on the legal document? How would you handle this? Okay, so let's talk about these two. Now, the first one you say, how about if it's greed and control? Okay, so how do you determine greed and control? Okay, these are red flags. These are literally red flags. Okay, these are red flags, and the 30 to 40% of marriages divorce end up in divorce because of this kind of things. Dishonesty in a marriage when it comes to finances is ground for distrust, and distrust is the number one element of erosion in a marriage. Distrust is like you have a basket made of rotten or raffia, and you're trying to go collect water. You can't collect water. You see? So this is a serious issue. Then you have to confront it flat out. Because if you can assess that it is out of greed and control, it means that you have noticed a pattern of greed and control. Do you want to close your eyes and close your mouth in that, or do you want to address the issue as a greed and control? Then you seek professional help. Seek counseling, seek professional help, and make sure you confront the issue that this happened here, this happened here, this happened here. This is the pattern of greed and control I'm seeing financially and in other area of my marriage. And I do not want to live like that. I have lost trust. I need help. Go to counseling, go to professional help and get help seriously, because it's a very, very serious issue. Now, the other one says, um, how about acquisition during marriage and the spouse's name is not on the legal? That's no. If you buy a house, let's start by acquiring property. Okay, you are married. Hopefully, you are earning an income. Both of you have your income. Okay, you can decide that, okay, we need a new car because the car we have is not working. It's costing us more money to repair it. Okay, you agree to get a car. Now, the car should have both your name on it, or the car should have the name of the person who can afford it alone. Because it's a matter of how you want to run your home. Again, it can be for money management, for property management, that one keeps the car in his name and the other does not have any debt attached to the name. It is going to help when we want to acquire a bigger purchase like a house. You see? So you have to understand how debt to income ratio works. That's how sometimes you juggle, and the family is able to navigate finances, because sometimes it's better for the person who has the least income to have the car notes to its name, to his or her name, the least income. Then the person who has a bigger income do not get into this little loan, but rather build up the credits or build up the savings. With the bigger income, the person can have a better house, because the person will be more suitable to get a mortgage loan, because the debt is lower than the income. So if it's for money management, there's nothing wrong with putting one's name in one legal document and not putting in another legal document. But in everything, make sure the law is on your side. Make sure the law is on your side. When you have the car, it is in the name of the wife. Do you pay off that car so that you don't get stranded with a car loan that you cannot afford? So if the car is in your name and you have an income, you have to focus where you double to pay off because your credits are safe. Now, if the two of you have your name on the car, let's say you don't have a mortgage, you're renting an apartment, and the two of you have your name on the car, okay? And you are trusting the person who has a better income to make the car payment, and the person does not make the car payment. You, with your little income, you were able to secure a credit rating like 700 or 690 or 720. By the other person not making the car note, you can lose 100 points. You can lose points on your credit without realizing that the person is not making the car payment. So not everything is bad. When you're doing a financial management of your home, you have to do it with a lot of financial literacy, a lot of financial, you know, and information. And literacy is the better word, so that you know that if my name is not on the mortgage, though it looks as if we having we having some problem, he can kick me out because it's gonna say this is not your house, this is my house. Okay, so I want my name on the mortgage. So my name needs to be on the mortgage. For the most part, when you are married, both names are on the mortgage. Like Red P was saying earlier, that when you live abroad, it's easy for that to happen because that's the law. Here, when you are married, your finances have to be managed together. They don't want to hear. That's what they have the prenup agreement. When you do a prenuptial agreement, that's when they're looking to separate even your taxes. To have your taxes done separately, it's sometimes it the IRS can create and start investigating the two of you. You see, so not having your name in a document, a legal document, can be good. It's not always bad. It depends on what that legal document is doing and how beneficial it is for the two of you. So just navigate all of that. If it's a mortgage, okay, the risk of you not having a mortgage, not having your name in the mortgage versus you having your name in the mortgage. Okay, what are the benefits? Okay, the benefits is that you are secure. There is a head over your roof, and your spouse cannot kick you out. That's your security. Financially, it represents that you have $500,000. You are $500,000 in debt or $300,000 in debt because your name is on that mortgage. So you have a debt liability as well. You see, so I want to close with this one to say, make sure the legal document you are talking about is for your benefit, and make sure that is out of financial planning and financial management that this was done. Now, if it's so that you don't have access to the benefit of that property, then it's a different issue. Like I stated earlier, out of greed, out of control, out of malice, out of pure wickedness, you seek help because you don't. If you are, if it's the woman speaking, you don't want to be stranded, homeless on the street with your children if he decide to kick you out. It happens a lot of times. Women finding themselves with spouses that have passed on and they have no legal ground because they did not do due diligence with the property. So, okay, the next question say, how do you handle this scenario? Okay, the man bought a huge piece of land in Cameroon and the document doesn't have his wife's name on it. And then he claims it's a family for us property. I think I addressed that a little bit. You have to confront him, you know. If the land is not the land of his family and there's no other claim on it that could come later, and it's a land that is standalone, your name should be on that paper. Your name should be on that paperwork. Your name should be on that paperwork. So the best way to do that is to, because if he say it's a family property, he could say that it's his own family. Now, I see that in parents, you say for us, meaning for you and him and the children. Then you have to ask him, if it's for you and the children, then your name needs to be on the property. Your name needs to be on it. Yeah. You have to ask him to put your name on it, and that's the conversation. I really would like for you to put my name on it. If it's for me and the children, it's for us. My name needs to be on the paperwork as well. Now, if he says no, then you know that it's because he does not want you to be on it. Then that's a different conversation you should have. Okay. Okay, I like that. It's a matter of how you want to run your home. Very logical. Thank you, ma'am. I agree with the rationale. What about investment acquisition? Okay, see, me at this point, I don't know if you guys are going to like me when I say that. Look, at your age, last time I said, please, my children, my daughters, my sisters, my do not do marriage like our mothers did, like our grandmothers did, and surely not like we did, because we were, like they say, you are um a minute late and a dollar short. We were 1 minute late and a dollar short from our grandmothers and our mothers. Okay, they are a little bit remnant on us, but for you, our children, our daughters, I beg you in the name of God, please do not do marriage like us. We are the last generation of women waking up and their husband died. They have no, nothing. It's over with. No young lady should be waking up to that reality in the 21st century. No, you have no excuses whatsoever. Whatsoever. Please make sure you put on your high heel, put on your lipstick, and be an investor. Be a property owner. Be a business mogul. Be all of this. I mean, you guys have more opportunities than we did at your age, and we are catching up to you guys because I'm like, it's amazing. There's no excuses for you. Or God doesn't want to put your name in his business. Do your own business and put your name in there. We have seen men treat their wife like a liability only to realize that actually they became the liability. Sorry about that, my son. I'm filming. I'm live. I can't talk to you, please. Okay. Sorry about that. You see, ladies, my tone went up a little bit because I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to read this. Not at all. And no, no excuses for you, our daughters. No. Mm-mm. No. If he does not want to, what about investment acquisition? Look, today there are opportunities Today, you can build your own credit. There are ways to build your own credit. There are ways to do investment yourself. There are ways to increase your income yourself. There are ways, I mean, you working, you have the ability, the opportunity, the intellect to make your money, invest your money, acquire your property. He buys a land. If the two of you put your money together as one account, when you see behavior like that, you seek professional help. And then you start putting money aside, creating wealth aside, creating ability to invest aside, just so you and your children are not found dejected, rejected, homeless, without food. This is our grandmother's time and some of our time. But now, no, no excuses. Okay, so I want to conclude with this one, with that, to say, my daughters, please, I beg you in the name of God, invest your own money. Don't wait for Oga. Invest your own money. Do your own stuff. Be the one to buy the house and tell him, I just bought a house for the family. We are moving next week. Here's the key. Uh-huh. Are you hearing me? Is anybody hearing me? Are you in agreement with me?
I agree with that 100%. Because I think that seeking professional, I've been married 24 years. I've not seen my husband sitting to listen to anybody. So there's no way to have professional help when you need help. All you need to do is to invest your own money.
100%.
And I know
I agree.
a lot of pastors will tell me, no, you have to have the same bank account. Please save yourself headache.
You
Okay.
can have same bank account, but you need to be a smart lady in this 24th century.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. There are several ways to open your own bank, and then actually it's an asset to the family. It's an asset because men do lose jobs. They lose jobs. Sometimes they come home, they lost a job. How are you going to do if you were just sleeping, waiting? Oh, he's going to take care of this. He's going to take care. No. If you have invested and now that he lost his job, you find yourself it's only your income. You can tap into the interest of an investment to help you until he gets a job again, until he finds revenue coming in again.
Then we go back to Proverb the virtuous woman.
Proverb 33 all the way. Some people say, oh, this woman is not realistic. If you take the verses one by one, you will find yourself in at least 2 or 3 verses. If you find yourself in 2 or 3 verses, it means it's possible because you are already doing it. It means it's possible because you are really doing it. You see? So I don't want victim mentality at all. And if you are connected with me, to me, no. We are women, we like we say in French, on fonce. We move, we're pushing forward. And Rempi is talking. She is my spiritual mom. I mean, she will train you as a soldier. She will push you.
On fonce seulement, maman. On fonce seulement.
On fonce, Nadej, on fonce. We're moving forward, loving our husbands, loving them. No victim mentality. Hashtag exactly. No victim mentality mindset at all. Submissive. That's a great question, Lovette. What you do is you ask, you speak about it. Number one. Okay? You speak about it, number one. Number two, you have to have how do you call this thing? You have to have an activity. You have to have an activity that is purely your activity, meaning that you and your husband build your home, you build your business together, You build everything together. If all the if everything is lined up correctly, your name is on things that's supposed to be. If the system is working, don't try to fix anything that is not broken. If everything goes well, then that's fine. You don't need to get here, then no. But if you see that your husband is shielding things from you out of greed, out of wickedness, not sharing, not putting your name in things, that's when you have to have a safety net. I call it a safety net. I call it a way of sauvetage, I could say in French, which means that you have those boat, the little safety boats, you see, that you throw on the water when the boat is sinking, you can jump in. But if everything is working well, there's only one captain in the boat. Your husband is ahead, is doing all his everything right. You are helping him. You don't need to do all of that. You don't need to have an account here and there. No, you are managing everything properly. Your name is where it needs to be. The security is assured. Why? Because there's life insurance on both of you. There's investment. You know your name is there. You all of this you don't need to do, but you only have to worry about that when you don't know left from right about your family finances. That's when you need to be a smart lady and no victim mentality. Because
Can
you
I
are
throw
at the point.
something?
Yes, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Mhm.
The thing also is sometimes you don't know the nature of the man until you encounter big money.
That
You
is
see,
true.
sometimes
Even
when you
women.
get married,
Mhm.
yeah, sometimes when you get married, you're
Excuse
just
me.
dealing with like a few hundred on the account and everything. You pay the bill on time and everything is fine. But when big money enter, I think is where sometimes the problem started. We start, and that is after like 4 children, 5 children, and then you don't know where to put your head to. I think this is why educational session like that are important, because some will not see any problem until they are like 10 years or 12 years in marriage.
Yes.
So, and I
Yes.
thank God for your teaching on finance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We thank God because we need to talk about those things. Finances are taboo in a family. Sometimes you see your spouse, she is so wasteful. She will buy the last trend of clothing. What's her face again? This lady. If Kardashian will buy a bag, she will go buy. This one will buy a pair of shoes. Louboutin, red bottom. I said red bottom, red bottom shoe. She will go buy it. I mean, the man is working his tail off. Before he looks at the account, the money is gone. He can't even dare speak. He's gonna be called stingy, all of this. But if you do that, what are we gonna leave our children? Men are also crying because they marry these beauty queens that are wasteful. No matter how beautiful you are, there will be a day where you're going to be 60 years old. I will be 60 next year. I never thought it will arrive one day. I never. Because in my mind, I'm still 25. And my children know I'm forever 25.
You look
But
beautiful.
but man, thank you. But you know, all age will come one day, and then you're gonna look at in the mirror, you'll be okay, I'm retiring next year. What am I gonna live on? You see? So when you get married, the most important thing that holds a marriage is not love. Let me shock you. Let me shock you well. It's not love. Love does not hold a marriage together. It is the commitment that you made to that love to that love. It's the commitment you made to that love that hold the marriage together. Otherwise, a lot of us will be single. A lot of us will be single. It is the commitment that you made to that love to say that this is a long journey. Come hell and fire, come high water, come desert, come whatever. What I have decided to do here, I will hold my end of bargain. That's what keeps you there. Thank you, Karine Jolie. That's what keeps you there. It has nothing to do with love. Love fades. When look at these examples that we received today. A man that say that he's not putting his name on any properties. Is your love going to fade there? It's a commitment that stays. And you say, okay, here, what can I do with this lemon that I just received? Because I'm looking at my little boo-boo and my little baba, and I need to make sure boo-boo and baba have food tomorrow when they are, 20 years old, they can go to school. 25 years old, they know that there's a house somewhere that if we close our eyes, they can enter to say this is their home. You see? That's what keeps most of us in a marriage. And we fight and we do what we can do to stay in, to manage the finances, to say, here, I will put it here, I will put it there, and put it together. So, to answer your question, when all is well, when all is well, you don't need to, there's no need for competitiveness in your marriage. No need. We're going to talk about jealousy and competitiveness in a marriage. It has nothing to do with protecting your welfare and your well-being when it comes to finances. Okay? So you are submissive to the wellness of the family, the welfare. Again, a lot of us ladies went to their grave being submissive. A lot of women are buried today before the time they were supposed to die, being submissive. Submissiveness does not mean becoming devoid of common sense and reasoning. Your life is in danger. Your welfare is in danger. Your wellness is in danger. The future of your children is in danger. Sit down and confront the matter. When you see that the matter is getting worse and it's not good for your very livelihood, you need to take a different approach. I hope I answer your question, Lovette. And Karine Jolie, thank you. Thank you. Again, no victim mindset. No victim mindset, because the victim mindset keep us in toxic marriages, in abusive marriages, in marriages of nonsense. Okay, any comment, we justice by looking at, you guys are not talkative today.
I think you answer very well, because a lot
Oh,
of people see like having a different account. Like
actually,
yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like a competition. I don't feel like that. And I feel like
Good.
when your husband met you, because when my husband met me, I was doing
Uh-huh.
business already.
Okay.
I have several business running. So when we got married, and he know I love to do business. So
Yes,
it
yes.
was,
Uh-huh.
of course, he even liked it. He liked to know when he meet even a business person, the first person he say, you need to meet my wife. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
having a different account because I run different business is natural. So I don't think it's a problem. I don't feel it's a problem, and it
Yes.
has nothing to do with submission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It has nothing to do with submission. Like I say, it is the way you manage the finance of your family. Sometimes it's even advisable to have two different accounts. You know why? Just like in a case, said to take a to have a life insurance um on your husband, because if your husband has a business partner and he has a certain agreement, okay, contract with his business partner, and if he's not protected, if he does not have a life insurance for the business, his partner can go scot-free with a 100% of all the effort of your husband that he built for years. This is why financial literacy is very important. You see, when your husband is in business with somebody, even alone, there is a business life insurance that protect the business, that if he passes on, all the debt, okay, if you want to liquidate the business, you don't want to deal with, let's say it's a restaurant, you don't want to deal with restaurant, okay? So when he passes away, the life insurance will liquidate all the debt of a restaurant, and it does not come on you. You see, the life insurance will pay off all the debt to the bank, to all of the contractor that the restaurant has foiled, is gone to bankruptcy, we have closed the restaurant. Then if there is some leftover money, it comes to you. That's another way of separating the thing. This is why it's not so much not being submissive if you have a separate account, but it's the way you manage the finance of your family. What is the best approach to protect yourself, your children, in the house? Otherwise, if he passes on, let's say he doesn't have, there are lots of people who pass on and the family think that they are inheriting the business. He is in debt running the business and you don't know. Now they're coming for the house because the debt have to be paid. They're coming for the cars, you see? So all of this, you have to open your eyes and look at it. It's a good thing to have a separate account, because if something like that happens and you have your own money, you they come in, you can save yourself and your children. I will give you a true story. My aunt, who is a lawyer, met a con artist in a plane 10 years ago. A true story, my family. She's my aunt, but she is very young. She's even younger than I. And in the plane, and she, those con artists, they have a list of the profile of the victim. So she checked all the box of the victim, and he took her head over heel. She thought she met the man of her life. Actually, he was a con artist. So within 3 months, they got married. Within 3 months of meeting in the plane, they got married. Within 6 months, he got her to open a restaurant. They opened a restaurant. The restaurant was working well. Within 2 years, they opened another one. So they had 2 or 3 restaurants around Abidjan, and they were booming. Money was entering. So she thought that everything was going right, only to find out. He said to her, "Oh, I have a business meeting in um, another African country. I'll be gone for a week." It took it. We're going for a week. We have 2 suitcases and a trolley. You see, but for men, 1 week they only need a trolley. So she put what he chose in the trolley, fit the trolley, and she gave him the trolley, and he went 1 week. Do you know that he never came back home? As I'm speaking to you, he never returned home. But what happened is this: when he went, after 3 weeks, every week, every day they were talking. After 3 weeks, they were talking once a week. After a month, they were talking only once every 2 months. After 3 months, he cut all communication. She did not know where he was. She didn't know if he was coming back. Nothing. No communication, nothing. Then people start calling her number. "Are you Mrs. So and so? Your husband owes me 5 million franc." Your husband owes me. Within a year and a half of him disappearing on her, after 5 or 6 years of marriage, the police showed up at her house to repossess stuff in her home. It's because she is a lawyer, and you know, in Africa, people are connected and people have connection. And when you are a lawyer, you are in the law or police system, the system help you because, you know, one hand washes the other. This is how she was able to be helped by her colleagues and friends. Some did it out of the goodness of their heart, others did it mocking. But eventually she paid almost 25 million franc of the debt of this guy that disappeared. And after 2 years of not communicating, not knowing where he was, she went and filed a divorce. And the divorce was granted to her. Things like that happen. The men can be the con artist, the woman can be the con artist, but in anything, you have to protect your finances. So, about the first question, if he's hiding his or her money from you, you don't have, that's not, to me, that's an easier issue than the second one. Just create your own money because you have to survive. If he's hiding money from you, how are you going to survive? Create your own money and make sure you create a good amount of it. Make sure you become financially independent, married to him. You have to be independent financially so that you don't depend on his revenue, on his money. Because men also are quick to say, to call gold digger. Women are materialistic. You know, I remember when I first started my marriage. Oh my goodness, what did I not hear? Materialistic, this and that and the other. And and only one day I'm like, okay, this is my career. This is how much money. I don't know who is materialistic here. But you have to make your own money. my daughters, my sisters, you have to own your own, make your own money. And like I say, this is the 21st century. You should not do um marriage like we did or our mothers did and surely not our grandmothers. Do marriage, 21st century way. We are African, but we are now living in a global world. We are now living in a global world. You see, we are now living in a global world. People are migrating left and right, entering different societies. We are no longer, how do you call that? Secluded in our tribe. See, even now, people that are living in village know that Trump got elected. To tell you that information is everywhere. So there's no excuse to say, oh, me, I'm a village, this, I have to stay here. No. If, and moreover, you left the confinement of your village, of your city, of your town, of your country, of your continent. You are at the abroad. Being at the abroad is opening you to live the reality of here, be it, husband changing diapers to you making your own money and being financially independent. That's living in the environment where you are. And it has nothing to do with being submissive or not submissive. It's a protection of the family. It's assuring your future, and it's increasing the value, the financial value of your family. If you are able to generate revenue, this is more for the family. So if your husband is hiding money from you, make your own money so you can buy your necessities. And women, we have so much we need. We have so much we restrained from us. We have to be we need a lot of details. So I'm going to stop here today. And anybody, we have case studies, but I wanted to do finance today to talk about that. Um, finances are as important as the other one. And believe me, you can be married 25 years and have a financial surprise. And if you have your name on everything together and your credit is attached everything together, you have to have an eye on the payment, faithfulness, okay, of that bill by the spouse, so that you don't get a curveball or a surprise. Because if, let's say that for the most part, the husband pays the mortgage, okay, or the rent, okay, you are working, all the money is together, okay, he is the one paying the bills. So you assume that all the bills are paid, only to realize that he did not pay the mortgage. Then you look at it and you see that your credit has diminished 100 points, 150 points. You're like, what's going on? And you realize, oh, it's because this bill did not get paid. It's because that bill did not get paid. How come? But your credit has already been ruined. You see? So it's not everything that your name is on that is not it's not everything that your name is not on that is a bad thing, and vice versa. So in everything, be aware, be awake, and make sure that you are on top of your finances. I'm gonna conclude like that. Okay, let me go back to Zoom. Where is Zoom? Let me close this one. Okay. Mrs. McIntosh, how are you? I see you loud and clear.
You see me?
Loud and clear. Your video is open on your bed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm glad you connected. Do you have anything to add to us?
It's funny that you are talking about this. Of course, and I do a woman's program, and we will be talking about protecting yourself legally and how there are so many laws on the continent that are changing because they have favored the man, the paternal side, the man dies, the wife gets nothing. And
Mhm.
now that women are smarter than the men, I hate to say it, but they're running businesses and they're legal eagles, that they are changing these laws because they are basically based on old cultural
Oh,
things.
coach, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And we're looking at that, and there's a amendment to the Maputo Protocol.
Okay.
Yes, which it talks about gender law.
Yeah.
So it talks about, you know, what inheritance,
Yeah.
sadly, divorce,
Hmm.
financing, and how women can keep their finances, but yet you can still, to me, maintain if you are building a solid foundation with your spouse. That's what
Yeah.
I believe. You just got to do it together.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. No, that was enriching because um, the Maputo Protocol is been talked about a couple of times, and it covers a wide range of issues. Trying to change the law, the favoritism that men had when it comes to the family, and how the law was helping men. And it's got a lot of um, a lot of areas that they amended and they changed. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you so much. And like I said, please, ladies, let us be educated. Let us be educated. Let us be informed. Let us not do um, marriage like before. So I think I can stop here for today.